Welcome!
Hey guys, welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and the opening to What If Whiplash Survived, the next MCU story. Before we get started, be sure to check out the Omniverse's homepage where our channel mascot Omni will direct you to the Discord, both Google Docs, and everything else the Omniverse has to offer, along with smashing the like button, subscribing to the Omniverse of Nick, sharing the Omniverse around and turning on all Omniverse notifications, and commenting future requests and expectations in the comments section. With all that said, let's begin. So, this is the next MCU story will be 3 parts. What if Whiplash, Anton Vonko, turned good? Now, Anton Vonko was introduced to us in Iron Man 2 as Whiplash, taking revenge on Tony Stark, Iron Man, for the death of his family, and began to fight him at a race and was actually pretty formidable for his lack of everything. But even with a weak suit, Tony was able to stop him. But Anton would return in a giant Whiplash suit along with millions of drones against War Machine and Tony Stark, Iron Man, and would prove to be quite the epic enemy. But eventually he was defeated, and that was it. But what if it was different? What if Anton Vonko, Whiplash, actually turned good and we got a story with him? That's what we answer today. Let's get started. So we open up, story going exactly the same. Anton Vonko wants revenge, fights Tony at the race, and that all goes the same. And then he prepares his plan with the drones, his giant Whiplash suit, etc., etc. And then War Machine and Tony put aside their differences and, or Rhodey, whatever you want to call them, fight the bunches of millions of drones, and in the end, fight Whiplash in the giant Whiplash suit. And then Iron Man and Rhodey, War Machine, stand victorious. But this time is different. They stared at Anton Vonko in the Whiplash suit. But this time when War Machine's about to go for the kill and they're about to finish the job, this is where the deviation sets in. They stare at him, and from what they see, hear, and feel, Anton is different from how they saw him. They see him as someone who's suffering, someone who really is lost in a way, and someone who even expresses, shows, and says he never wanted to be like this. It was only because, yes, it was Tony's weapons. It was personal. It was loss. It hurt. And Rhodey, he doesn't believe a word of anything or that he's seeing, hearing, or feeling. So, regardless, War Machine's about to go for the kill. But Tony tells him to stop because he does understand. And he says he didn't care about his dad a wink, never paid him any mind. But his mom, he cared deeply for her, more than anybody could ever understand. And now his dad, he's come to really freaking respect him, like above and beyond, as a different person. And he tells Rhodey somehow he must understand that. And they are not going to kill Anton. Instead, they're going to put him in custody and he's going to put a word in to change Anton and personally turn him into a force of good. Because it's what his parents, or at least his mom, would want. But Rhodey, War Machine, just flies off with the suit and says, "One day, I know it's not going to be by my hand because I still have great respect for you, Tony. You know both of us this whole time going back and forth. But eventually, this will come back to bite us." And he just flies off. Anton doesn't want to believe what War Machine is saying, but he doesn't honestly know how to feel even though he's being spared. But Tony says not to worry about him, but he will have to go into custody. And Anton, unfortunately, has to agree. Tony and Pepper come back together, and they have their intimate moment and then talk about everything that happened. Rhodey flying off and going to put in a good word for Anton, Whiplash, and that he will be entertained custody for now. but he will be a new force of good, just as long as Tony is the one to make sure of it. Even Pepper has her suspicions, and Anton is unfortunately put into custody, but a great word is put in by Tony to reduce any kind of immediately long sentence and turn him into what will be a fire and great force for good. And that's where the Avengers movie comes into play. Will Whiplash Anton Vanko actually be as good as his word? Or is this all a trap and a trick for what is truly about to happen?
Now get out!
What?
Get out! Everybody get out!